Welcome to the Malvern Retreat House. My name is Father Jim McGuinn and I'm the rector here at the Retreat House, and I thank you for watching this video. This video is going to be a welcome and an orientation to our Holy Week retreat. I grew up in Philadelphia, and people in the Philadelphia area love to go to the Jersey Shore during the summer. And the big phrase around here when people go on vacation is, "You going down the shore?" And every kind of metropolitan area has its down the shore where people go for vacation. I have a lot of friends who have houses down the Jersey Shore. Dwayne and Patty and Paul and Priscilla and just lots of other people. And they're always asking me to come down, spend some time there during the summer. And for lots of reasons, I'm always just too busy. But on those rare occasions when I get into my car and I drive down, it just feels right to kind of leave the busyness and the craziness and the noise of life behind and drive down the shore. I don't know what happens, but as you get closer and closer to the Jersey Shore, at least for me, I just start to become a little bit more relaxed and I just kind of unwind. And maybe it's the sun, maybe it's the sand, maybe it's the shore itself. But once you get to the swamp grass, the back bay, and you can smell the Jersey Shore, it's like, that's it. And I just feel like my shoulders drop 2 inches when you literally smell the back bay. Here at the Malvern Retreat House, that's the way a lot of people feel when they drive through the gates and come onto our 125 acres. Their shoulders just drop 2 inches. For almost 100 years, people have been coming here to the Malvern Retreat House to make a retreat. The first retreats that were put on by the Laymen's League took place at St. Charles Seminary in 1912. And then in 1921, people acquired this property. So although you may not be able to be here physically, we do appreciate you making a virtual retreat and being here spiritually. For some of you, this might be your first retreat. For others, it may be your 20th or 30th or 40th. We just hope it's not your last retreat. And most importantly, during this crazy time, but this beautiful time of Holy Week, we just want it to be your best retreat. Might be your first, hopefully not your last, but certainly your best. When retreatants come here on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have an orientation, and I often lead that orientation, and there could be 100 or 200 or sometimes 300 people on retreat. And to begin the orientation, I always ask just one question. I say, what do you like most about coming to the Malvern Retreat House to make a retreat? What do you like most? And people have all types of answers. Sometimes they're funny answers. I'm getting away from my wife, getting away from my husband, getting away from the kids or the grandchildren. Then sooner or later people start to say more serious things. They like Mass, or they like to be able to walk the grounds. Some people will say they love making the rosary as a group. Or visiting the Stations of the Cross. Other people say they love hearing, witnessing how God is working in the lives of people, or just having meals together. We have a tradition here of private adoration, usually for 15-minute increments in front of the Blessed Sacrament in one of our oratories. And people love that. 15 minutes with our Lord in the Most Blessed Sacrament. I often say that one of the best things for a retreat is to make a really good confession. And when people make a good confession on a retreat, I think they have a personal encounter with Jesus Christ. At the end of that little sharing, I always say this, that we can offer all types of things on a retreat, all types of experiences. But one of the most important things that make for a good retreat is your participation. And that's going to be true for this Holy Week virtual retreat. I would really encourage you to participate in this retreat. God is always generous with us, So I think we ought to return the favor and be generous with God during this retreat. Give in to the retreat and to take it seriously and get the most out of it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the schedule for the retreat. The schedule is pretty simple. We're calling it 3 and 3, just 3 and 3. There are going to be 3 prayer services each day: morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer with adoration. So 3 prayer services. There are also going to be 3 retreat sessions. There's going to be one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then one in the evening. So, the schedule is on the Malvern Retreat House website, and it's flexible. So you may have to adapt it for your personal needs. But we're going to begin with morning prayer at 7:30. The morning session is at 9 o'clock. The afternoon session is at 3 o'clock. We have evening prayer at 5:30. The evening session will be at 7 o'clock. And then night prayer with adoration will be at 9 o'clock. Again, they're suggested times, so adapt them to meet your needs. Let's talk a little bit more about the prayer services. This is the worship aid that we use on our retreats here at the Malvern Retreat House. And this worship aid is available in a PDF file at the website. So we ask you to go to the Malvern website and download the PDF version of this. And we suggest that you print it out. You could look at it off your computer. We find it more helpful if you actually have a hard copy of this. This is going to contain morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer with adoration. The prayer services have been recorded. So we ask you to use them to pray. And there's an introductory video explaining how you can use this worship aid and how it will help you to participate in morning prayer, evening prayer, and night prayer. So we just ask you to download it and use it to participate as well. These are not going to be the prayer services that we would follow for each day of Holy Week. That would be a little confusing for most people. So this is what we use in our weekend retreats, and we'll be using this throughout the week. We encourage you to attend Mass virtually as well. You can go to EWTN, Bishop Barron. You can also go to the Vatican and celebrate daily Mass with our Holy Father. Now, let's talk a little bit about the 3 retreat sessions that we'll have each day. There are handouts for each session. They're on the website, PDF version, download, and print it out. They will help you to participate in the sessions. Each session is going to be about 40 minutes long. 20 minutes for the first half and 20 minutes for the second half. What we're going to do for the first half is focus on the great readings that we hear during Holy Week. These are some of the most powerful and really some of the most important readings that we hear throughout the whole year. So for each session, each day, the first half we're going to focus on one of the great readings. We're going to be reading that together. I'm going to ask you to read it by yourself out loud. I'll have a brief explanation of it. Then the second half of our session will also be a prayer service. It will be a guided meditation or some type of a prayer service that I'll be leading for about 20 minutes. People may have some questions or comments on the retreat sessions. So Deacon Tony Sincata is on staff here, and he's going to be fielding any questions that people have. You can just email him, and he'll be getting back to you. Now, like I said at the beginning, usually people come here to make a retreat, and this is the Malvern Retreat House, and we often say on a Friday night, welcome to your home. You're going to be making this retreat in your own home. So if I could give you a few suggestions about how to make a retreat at home, I'd really appreciate that. Really, in a sense, we're just going to be inviting you to do what we really ought to be doing every day. But on this retreat, we're going to be doing what we should do every day, a little bit more often, and perhaps a little longer. So, what's really important is that you create a sacred place for yourself in your home. Again, we should probably have some type of a sacred place in our home regardless of making a retreat. For me, I have a chair out on my sun porch, and I look out at the property, and that's where I pray every morning for an hour, and other times throughout the day. For me, that's my little sacred space. So you find a place in your home where you can retreat to be with God during this retreat. You should decorate that sacred space. Maybe you want to put out a crucifix or a Bible. Maybe you want to light a candle or have some type of a religious article. Maybe you want to dim the lights when it's time to pray, or have them up when it's time for our retreat session. So create a sacred space that you can go to that will really help you to move into your sacred space within. Let's talk a little bit before we end about the mission of the church. You know, the mission of the church is to help us to be the best version of ourselves. But also the mission of the church is to help people who are far from God or who have questions about God to maybe have encounters with God that would start to move them along their spiritual journey. So I hope that this retreat is going to meet our own personal spiritual needs. But there are a lot of people out there who are hurting and who are really looking for God, and they're trying to make sense of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think this would be a great opportunity for us to kind of evangelize and to get out of our comfort zone and invite people to make this retreat with us. If there are people in your home that you think would benefit by making the retreat, I would invite you to ask them to join us, maybe just for the first session or two, and try it. Perhaps there's people that you would like to invite who aren't in your home. Well, call them up, send them an email, and invite them to go to the Malvern Retreat House, check out our Holy Week virtual retreat, and encourage them to make the first session or two. Okay, just a reminder, we have evening prayer at 5:30. Make sure that you download the worship aid and watch the intro video to the prayer services for morning prayer, evening prayer, night prayer with adoration. And then we'll see you again at 7 o'clock. Again, download the PDF guide for that session. And thanks for watching this video. God bless.